We're going to get right into it. We've got a great show tonight, starting with Marilyn Price. Marilyn, welcome. Say hi to the audience.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me, Kevin.
Yay, I'm so glad to have you here. I want to start by saying Marilyn is kind of an idol of mine because she is so articulate about everything she does. It just makes me want to be as articulate and passionate as she is. Marilyn, tell me a little bit about yourself. Who are you for those of the audience who don't know who you are?
Well, I'm getting up there in age, about almost 80. So been around, been in Marin County for a long time. I've been a mother and a housewife, and then I worked for environmental organizations for a number of years, and then I started Trips for Kids in 1988 and did that for 28 years, and now I've turned to just strictly using all my time to volunteer for the environment.
Which is why I admire you so much, and why I think our audience who gets to know you here will admire you as well. There's, of course, many people tuning in who already know you. When we talked about you appearing here, you said, oh, I know just what I want to talk about. And I'm like, okay, tell me. And we've chatted a little bit about this already, but go ahead and tell us what you have in mind to talk about today.
Well, and it is my favorite topic. I follow everything environmental, but one of my passions is living a minimalist life. And I try to encourage others to do likewise. I've actually been at this certainly since 1970, but my first inkling of all of this, and I've got this book. It's called The Challenge of Man's Future. This is from 1960, a sociology class that I took. Written by Harrison Brown. In it, he talks about running out of renewable resources. And I thought to myself, no, non-renewable resources. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? And that's when I became interested in the environment. And I used to get on my soapbox with my family and my friends. Of course, then nobody really wanted to listen to you. So after a few years, I got down from my soapbox. But then I got reconnected in 1970 when I read The Population Bomb. And it just got me, all concerned again about the environment. I taught then a resilient neighborhood type program in my home in Tiburon to about 5 Tiburon matrons. We had 5 classes, no computers, and charts done by hand and everything. And so then I actually volunteered at a recycle center for about 9 years. This was before the garbage company took it over. Neil Smith had started one here in Marin County. And so that got me all on the track for all this environmental stuff. And when I did Trips for Kids, one of the main reasons was to get the kids, even though they were inner city, to get them to think too about how personally they could impact the problems that our environment were having, which increased substantially every year since 1960 till we're in the situation we are in today. So that is still closest to my heart. I do it in my own life, and I definitely just, I'm talking about it as much as possible and trying to convince other people. And I know, and this is what I heard, some people think the individual thing doesn't count, but it does. And I hear that from many people, including Jonathan Foley from Drawdown and many others too. And the difference I see is because the people out there, particularly we have to talk to those in our developed world. They may feel, I don't want to get into politics. I don't want to sit there and do this, and I don't want to do that. But everybody can make a difference in their own personal life, and they do make a difference. And so that's why I continue to talk about it to this day.
Tell me, can you tell me a little bit about sustainable Mill Valley and the whole sustainable movement?
Yes, definitely. Well, and as many of you may know, it got started some years ago. Sustainable Marin was, I believe, the original sustainable, although it could have been Sustainable Fairfax. And there are several sustainable programs, one in Novato, one in Fairfax, one in San Rafael, and now we have one in Mill Valley that Max Perret helped me start. So we're only not quite a year old, but we're trying to spread the idea of sustainability in our own community here.
Nice. I think that are there four or five sustainable individual organizations now in Marin?
Yeah, well, it is Novato and San Rafael and Fairfax and Mill Valley. There was a San Anselmo one, Kevin, you might know. I don't think it's there anymore, though. I haven't heard about it.
Okay. I mentioned that simply because people come to me, and I'm sure they come to you and say, well, what can I do? How can I join in? Where are there opportunities for me to give 5 minutes of time? And that's one good choice, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Particularly for those that want to stick local, and do something. And that's, think globally, act locally. So, and you the everyday citizen can have more of an impact in their local community too.
Absolutely. So, what are you looking forward to out of this year? It's kind of a strange place that we're in right now, but I'm curious. What are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm a little bit concerned about what kind of money is going to be devoted to our environmental groups because it's going to be tight everywhere. That's what I'm reading. But I also, I was just out on my daily bike ride, and I thought to myself, and I've thought this before, that I am just hoping that, again, going back to this minimalist idea, that's how people are living now, and that they see the value in it. There is so much of how we spend our time. We don't need to do it, and we're destroying our world. The fact that the developed world, we need 6 worlds to support us. So this is giving us an inkling of what might even be a better life. So I'm hoping lots of people will realize that, glom onto it, and just start doing things differently. And if we get that massive, that 3.5%, we're just going to make it happen.
I love your enthusiasm. I love your optimism. Would that we all could take a little piece of that when we need it. And is there anything else that you were hoping to talk about here before you go? Or yes, go on.
Well, and I would just say, with the climate emergency resolution, which I know, Kevin, you are on our committee, and I don't know if there's time for you to talk anything about what's happening in Nevada where you live, but I'm very excited about that. Again, it's to wake people up. We are in a climate emergency, and to get our towns to work on this, again, that's at the local level, and then the citizens too. So, we're trying to get it passed in every single town, every single one of our cities in Marin. And if anybody out there wants to join in, they can just contact me and we'll sign them up and get them on our committee. And I don't know if there's time if you want to report on anything in Novato here, because Kevin, I know you're working on the draft for Novato.
Yes, the short answer is there's always something to report about from Novato and for the climate emergency resolution effort. A lot of people, I think we start with the beginning of why do we need to do this? Isn't this just more bureaucracy or paperwork or something that's symbolic but not meaningful? How do you handle that question?
Well, and it isn't, because we build things into the resolution that are going to make a difference. We want the cities who have not devoted staff time to this issue to put some money into it, or to at least set up a volunteer commission that's going to track it. Fairfax is doing a great job. I'm understanding they passed one, San Anselmo passed one, and they've got a group of citizens that are really going to track it. And that's how we will make a difference. So it's just the start. It's recognizing it, acknowledging it, and then moving on from there. And one thing I'll say, kids are excited about this. They see the emergency, and they are, this kind of notion is very popular with the kids.
That it is, and sometimes the kids are the best teachers of the adults. So, I'm learning from them all the time. Well, Marilyn, thank you so much for being here today. I hope you'll come back again, and I promise not to have so many technical issues.
Well, thank you, Kevin, for having me.